Hey all, Southern Sage back, and it's time to do the garlic harvest. So I trialed 6 different kinds of garlic. I actually grew 7, but one of them I've been growing for a very long time, so I didn't count it in the trial. I will show it to you as a baseline though. And of those, some of them did really well, and some of them not so much. So let's take a look at the garlic. Here we are. Our first variety is called inchelium. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's a softneck. I will say that all the varieties I trialed were softneck because the 2 varieties I've been growing for a long time are hardneck, and I feel like I've got that covered. So I would say on the whole, the inchelium didn't produce as well. If we look at some of the other varieties, you can see some of them have many more heads than it does. That is because many of its heads just did not survive the winter. So that's definitely a knock on it. But that said, it had a really nice average head size. So I weighed all of these together and then divided by the number of heads it produced. And this one came out on, I don't know, the upper end of middle at 1.73 ounces a head on average. Now this next one is early Italian. So another softneck, obviously from Italy. And this one was the second lowest performer in terms of average head size, but did germinate really well. So I got a lot more, a higher survival rate. That's what I'm trying to say. So these guys only average just over an ounce per head. So that's kind of disappointing. I would say that puts it pretty low on my list, although it wasn't the worst performing variety in the trials. Transylvania is, I think, going to add itself to my rotation. So it had a really good survival rate, right? There's a good head count. And look at these guys. Like that is a garlic head to rival my hardnecks. And I am very impressed with this variety. So Transylvania, I think, is going to be a winner. Its average head size was 1.9 ounces. So not quite the top. It actually came in 3rd in the total running for largest head size, but look at that. Our worst performing garlic was this one. It's Spanish benetèe. Now this softneck got to stay in the ground a little too long. I did not notice it was that far gone. So some of these heads looking ugly is just that they were there too long. But even with that, there's not a really nice head of garlic in this mix. The germination rate was good, so that was okay, but it was the smallest average head size at 0.84 ounces per head of any of the ones I tried. And given that it's just very out of sync, it finished way earlier than any of the others, which from a practical standpoint in my garden makes it a problem, because it means that is going to happen every single year. So then, the next one is Chef's Italian, not to be confused with Early Italian. And so Chef's Italian obviously has some winners, right? For these that I would be very happy to save for seed. It was the second highest average head weight at 1.96 ounces, so almost 2 ounces a head average. So these are gorgeous. Germination rate was great. Hardly lost any in the 3 trial rows I did. So definitely a winner. Would have to recommend Chef's Italian around here. My baseline average, this guy is Music. So you can see I grew a lot more. Since I wasn't sure how the trials were going to go, I went ahead and planted my normal amount of Music so that I knew my family would be covered for garlic if all of those did poorly. But obviously it did well. Like, I love this variety because it consistently produces very large heads of garlic that keep really, really well. So as a hardneck variety, I'm going to keep growing that because how can you argue with that kind of garlic? And then the last one, and the winner, oh, I should say for reference, the Music came in at 1.75 ounces a head, which is a little bit lower, but some of that's that I just planted so many that we ended up with a few duds. And then there's California White. So this was another really small trial. These are, well, I shouldn't say it's a trial. This is a variety I've raised for a long time, and when I saved seed garlic last year, I just didn't save very much of it at all, and that's on me. And so you can see how well it performs. It is the winner for largest average head size at 2.75 ounces a head. So more than half an ounce heavier on average than any other variety. This is a takeoff of the commercial garlic that I've selected over years to have consistently larger heads, and so it does. So this one and this one have been my standbys, but I am clearly going to have to add, I think, Chef's Italian and Transylvania as the winners to this rotation. I may also keep the top 2 or 3 heads of that inchelium and just see if I can get it to go ahead and be a little bit more consistent. I really like growing many varieties of almost every vegetable I grow because some of them will do better in certain weather than others. I've also noticed a huge difference in soil type. So I have grown music in California in heavy clay soil, in silty soil, and now in a sandy soil. And each time I have to reselect to get the genetics back to something that works better in my soil in each place. So that's usually a 2 or 3 year process of taking the variety, picking out the largest heads that look like they will keep the best, setting them aside, and then I eat the rest. So if we look at this Transylvania, I would look at this and probably keep this guy, that one, probably that one, and I don't know, maybe that guy. Maybe also this one. I would probably keep those 5, and they will go in a little paper sack like that that is labeled, and then I will plant this out into the garden in September usually. So I plant garlic quite a bit earlier than most folks, and I've had really good luck that way. So I almost always have my garlic in the ground by the 1st of October. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Do what works for you. So let me know if you have enjoyed seeing the results of the garlic trial. Introduced to some varieties of garlic you may not have known existed. I got all of this from commercial stocks, so you can find them online in seed catalogs. So enjoy, and we'll talk to you again soon.